Hello, Steeler fans, and welcome to my weekly breakdown of our game against the Falcons. My plan here is to do this in 3, maybe 4 parts. First, just going over offense, defense, special teams, and then I'll touch a little bit on coaching and how it went. So, going to start off with the offense. Um, got dealt a real weird blow this in the morning before the game. Kind of knew it was coming, but Russell Wilson was supposed to start, been named the starter, but the calf injury flared up late in the week, so Justin Fields got the nod. As far as the offense goes, just kind of looking at some stats here. I wasn't expecting much out of this offense, honestly, at this point. You got week one, you didn't know who the starter was going to be. You got right tackle or left tackle playing right tackle, a backup tackle playing left tackle, and I think it was 6th or 7th round draft pick starting at guard. We got a lot of injuries. Hopefully, we can get the 2 tackles set up, and Fontenot and Broderick Jones can go where they're supposed to be, and then Samola get him back in the lineup, and that way we can really show off what the offense can do. But rushing, they did great. 137 yards on the game with a makeshift offensive line isn't nothing to snuff at. Looking at Harris had 20 carries, 70 yards. That's about average for him. He's not a huge flash guy. He'll get a couple big runs, but you're going to get a 3.5 to 4 yard average per carry out of him. Some people are questioning why Patterson got more carries than Warren, but I think Warren's still kind of coming back from that injury, and I don't expect much. I'll expect him to get more carries next week, going forward as he gets healthier. And obviously, Patterson knows Smith's offense, so it worked out well going down to Atlanta. Justin Fields, pedestrian kind of day, 7 of 23, 156, no touchdowns. He had a couple big passes to Pickens, who's going to be our offense. The number one receiver is going to be Pickens. There's nobody else really. Freiermuth, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of him. He just got that big payday. But you scrambled Sunday morning to get to, an offense that will work out there, and we're just going to have to keep plugging through and away with what we got, and hopefully I would stick with Justin, honestly. Russell, I don't know. I mean, as a Wisconsin guy, I'd like to see him play for us, but I think he's relegated to a number 2, and I think Justin Fields, if he can, keep the errors to a minimum, no interceptions, a couple sacks, not too bad, no fumbles. I mean, he did fumble the first snap, but everything went the way it should have. If he can play the clean game that, Mike Tomlin requires of his quarterbacks and has required ever since Ben had that elbow injury, it's just been manage the game and win from there. The defense, as long as you don't put the defense in any hard predicaments, you should be the starting quarterback for this team because the defense is obviously going to carry him. Well, now on to the defense. The backbone of this team, the thing that's carried us for the last 5-6 years, they had another stellar game. They basically pitched a shutout. I'm not going to get into the offsides call. Everybody knows that was it was close on TJ on that strip sack that would have ended the touchdown drive for the Falcons, but TJ was a menace all game. 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 4 tackles, 2 for a loss. And then you had the rest of the guys. As far as sacks go, Montavious Adam had 1 as well. So that's the 2 that we had for the day. And 3 tackles for a loss, 2 by TJ, 1 by Adams as well. Adams stepped up pretty big. I thought that we'd see Benton a little bit more in that position, but he shown in the time that he got. And then interceptions, the 2 additions, got 2 interceptions. So Jackson, I think if you look at the game yesterday, we won the Deontay Johnson trade. But that offense in Carolina is rough, so I'm not going to harp too much on that. But we got the win on this one for this week. And then, you had some big tackles out of Fitzpatrick coming into the secondary, doing his spy thing. And Joey Porter Jr., lockdown corner, number 1 corner. Obviously, he held, let me look at the stats, but it was pretty good. Pretty rough day out of Drake London. 2 catches for 15 yards, 8 as a long off 3 targets. Kirk Cousins didn't pass very well. That's the front 4 obviously tearing him up a little bit, getting in there and slowing him down. The defense is always going to be the bright spot. We're not going to have any bad defensive games. We might give up, 20, 25 points here and there, but they're always going to get their numbers and they're gonna shine. So I got no problem with the defense. They did well. On to special teams, the real highlight of the game. Well, one aspect of it, anyways. Chris Boswell went out there 6 field goals, 3 over 50 yards. But yeah, he 18 points, scored everything for the game. Cameron Johnston, that's a rough injury. I don't know. We haven't heard much of what it is, but he was looking good. But other than that, returns, we didn't have any kickoff returns. Kelvin Austin had 4 punt returns, along as 16, 47 total yards, nothing spectacular. I guess, that's Boswell was the MVP of the game. Came in with that big punt after Johnson went down 43 yards. You can't ask for more than that to kind of close out the game the way he did. Hopefully Johnson's back quickly. I can see Presley Harvin coming back. I know Brad Wing's out there available, and then we have, I think there was a third one, Corliss Whitman, has kicked for us before, and he's available as well. But the punt coverage has got to get better. Looks like they had one long one for 28 yards, and kick return they had 2 against us. So coverage has got to get a little bit better. Boswell still going for the number 1 kicker. I mean, it's rough. He can't even be the number 1 in his division with Tucker over in Baltimore, but he had a pretty big day for us. So happy with him kicking. And finally, just going to touch on coaching a little bit. Mike Tomlin, he coaches these games. I don't know what it is, why he likes the close, tight games, but hopefully Arthur Smith can get this offense going. A lot of pedestrian calling. Obviously, you go into the week with one guy expected as a starter, and as the week goes on, you got to shift and change the focus. But Pittsburgh's always been this way with their quarterbacks, at least for the last 5 years. I mean, Ben got 2, throw it around the yard a little bit when Todd Haley was around, but right now you got a defense that can carry you through games. You're going to want to let them carry you through games. So Arthur Smith, I hope the playbook expands a little bit more, but you don't really have a lot of options, a lot of weapons. The offensive line needs to get better. Obviously, I've talked about that already, but just keep coaching the guys up the way you can. I know there's a playbook out there. I seen in Tennessee what you did with Henry and that offense, which is basically kind of the same setup we got here. And as far as Tomlin, he's never going to be good at reviews. He missed one where he should have called it. I don't think he called any other ones. I didn't get to watch the game. Living in the Midwest, I got to see Vikings and Giants, so that was awesome. Watched it a little bit on Red Zone, but any Steeler fan knows Red Zone we don't get a lot, especially this game, 18-10. Nothing really happened in the Red Zone, so that's where we are with that. And then the call on the 4th and short to go for it when he could have gone up 8. I'm not going to really harp on that too much. Tomlin's always going to count on his defense, regardless. He didn't go for it earlier in the game. That one time, that was a confusing play too, where everybody thought it was 4th down. But I mean, I like to see the adventure on 4th down a little bit more than 4th and 1, 4th and 2, just kicking it all the time. So I'm not going to fault him there. The defense obviously held up. We went back down and got up 8. So no hurt there, I guess. No harm, no foul, I guess is the saying I'm looking for. And that's it for my recap. Next week I will be in Denver at the game, so the recap might come a little bit later, but I'm excited. I'm taking my son to his first NFL game. My younger son, my oldest son, used to go with me a lot, but he's off at school, so maybe next year. See you from Denver.